Yes!
Megaman X3, still murdering almost 3 years later.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of The Completionist. You know, we've actually made several journeys in the Mega Man X universe. We've been on his first one, his second one, and his fourth one. But for me, I skipped the third one growing up, so I think it's time that we take a step back and really look at why I skipped the third quest known as Mega Man X3. Mega Man X3. A ton of you right now are going to be very confused. Up to this point, we've reviewed X1, and then X4, and then we went back and did X2, and now X3. I know it's weird, but I'll try to explain my reasoning as best as I can.
But Batman, Skyrim! Where's my Skyrim? You promised episode 99 was Skyrim! You faker! You lied to us! How dare you!
I did promise you guys that Skyrim would be episode 99, and I still intend to complete that game. Problem is, I've started and stopped Skyrim over 4 times now due to hard drive problems. Looks like Skyrim will have to wait a little more until we cross paths again later.
You disappoint me like evil Santa on Christmas.
Be grateful for what you get.
Whoa, Gerard, that wasn't even in the script.
What? Oh, dude, I'm so sorry. I don't know what got into me.
For the interest of time, we're not going to explain the first 2 Mega Man X games because, well, you should know them if you're watching the third in a series. But just in case, you can click these 2 videos to get caught up. For those of you who are lazy, here's some key words. The future. Robots are similar to humans in the way that they can think and feel. They're known as Reploids. Reploids that rebel against mankind are known as Mavericks. And there's an agency known as Maverick Hunters. The 2 Maverick Hunters that are the main characters in this game are known as Mega Man X and Zero.
A few months after the events of Mega Man X2, Reploids were still going Maverick left and right. That is until a Reploid scientist named Dr. Doppler developed a neurocomputer chip that helps suppress Maverick-type behavior in Reploids. Things were going so well that the Reploids came together to build Doppeltown, a perfect utopian society with the Doctor himself as their faithful leader. That is until months later, the Reploids that were once Maverick resurfaced again and started causing chaos across the world. Back at Maverick Hunter HQ, a distress signal was sent out to X and Zero to go out and stop the Maverick riot. A few hours later, Maverick Hunter HQ is under attack, and our 2 heroes must return to base. It turns out Dr. Doppler is truly evil after all, and he's created a Maverick army to do his bidding.
Let me guess, 8 bosses that are roughly themed on animals and insects that either make a ton of sense or little to no sense at all. Oh wait, can't forget the obligatory 2 to 3 random mid-bosses with a pun on some type of computer term like bit and byte that fight with you, and you may or may not encounter on random stages when you walk into empty rooms.
I was talking, Greg.
Sorry, Gerard.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wilmot.
Sheesh, what's gotten into him?
There's really a weird shift when it comes to Mega Man X3 when compared to its previous installments visually and audibly. Mega Man X was impressive on every front. The music was instantly recognizable and iconic, the graphics were crazy when compared to the original Mega Man series, and the game played perfectly. With Mega Man X2, they somehow were able to maintain that consistency of change by upping the background visuals, more in-depth audio tracks, with the gameplay wavering a little bit in regards to its cohesiveness. But with Mega Man X3, in comparison to X2 and X1, comes off feeling more like a DLC add-on pack if it was made today.
Pre-order it now from GameStop to get the pointless gun skin and costume now!
Now, before everyone beheads me by claiming that every Mega Man game feels the same after a certain number, I agree, that's very true. But that's with the originals. With the X series, it always spoke to me, at least, as a tried and true game that always evolved with each installment of the series. Sure, the boss names got weird, but visually and aesthetically, they're all very impressive. and maybe I ruined my own appetite of X3 by playing Mega Man X4 first.
Well, first off, why did you do that? Second, how is that possible?
Honestly, I couldn't find a Mega Man X3 cartridge as a kid, and I kind of forgot about it. Later on, I picked up Mega Man X4, and I immediately fell in love with the series again. I would go on to purchase the Mega Man X Collection series, where it was there that I played Mega Man X3 for the first time. And in a way, Mega Man X4's boss designs come directly from X3, but they did it better, so I'm not that bummed. Either way, X3, while still great, is not nearly as well designed as X1, X2, or X4.
Oh, you're gonna get razzed so hard for that. What in the blue hell is going on with you? Is there only Zool inside of you?
X3 did improve upon itself with adding a lot more to the gameplay. Some of the armor overhauls make a lot more sense this time around, but there's also some unnecessary changes. Let's tackle a few things first to get them out of the way. Zero. Technically speaking, this is the first game out of the X series that allows you to play as Zero. Zero handles a bit slower than X, but is much more powerful. He can charge up his buster while throwing a translucent blade from his Z-Saber. If you guys recall, in the Mega Man X4 review, I did say that you can play as Zero in this game, but there's a bit of a catch. If you at any point die with Zero, you can no longer play as him. Zero also does not get upgrades like X, nor can he fight any boss fights whatsoever, with the exception of one later on towards the end.
Zero doesn't need any upgrades when he's got those long, flowing locks.
Of course, making their returns in X3 are the heart tanks, sub-tanks, and armor pieces, but we have a few new additions to the family that are both good and bad. Let's start with the good. Multiple gigantic robot armors. Capcom upped the ante with having different robot armors that have different qualities. There's the frog armor that's designed just for water atmospheres, the hawk armor, which specializes in shooting missiles and flying. And what's pretty rad about these armors is that there are armor stations now in each stage where you can quick swap to them. Now for the bad things I really dislike, the armor upgrades. Now, before you all freak out, I love that the X series has taken on the role of making great armor power-ups. For the feet, in X2 we got the air dash, and in X3 you can now air dash straight up. The Buster upgrade can now shoot 2 separate shots that take up the whole screen when shot together at the same time. The body armor gives you reduced invincibility frames upon hit, which is great for recovery. And the helmet will give you a map before the start of each level, giving you hints as to where the heart tanks, sub-tanks, armor robot suits, armor pieces, and armor chips are.
Wait, armor chips?
That's the thing I really dislike, armor chips. There are pinkish-purple Doctor-like capsules that grant extraordinary powers to one part of X's armor pieces. You can only use one of them if you get them. These range from benefits such as shooting charged shots without charging, instantly regaining health without doing a damn thing. You can even air dash twice in a row.
Why is that so bad? It sounds awesome!
It really makes you second guess your one-time only decision. You trade off having only one upgraded piece of armor that's already upgraded. In the later ports of this game, you can swap these chips out as you use them, but in the Super Nintendo version, which is the one we're playing right now, it's a one-time kind of deal. Completionist bonus will go on to explain a lot more, Greg. You'll see.
Gotcha.
The overall difficulty is pretty tough for new players of X3. I feel that X1 and X2 have fairly well-designed levels, enemies, and bosses that are designed to show you how to play the game. But the difficulty spike goes up and down constantly in X3, especially towards the end of the game. I mean, Vile makes an appearance.
Come on, Gerard, spoilers!
What? Halfway through the story, he shows up, and you have no choice but to avoid him at that point. But he's also a secret boss that you'll need to kill eventually, so...
Alright, Gerard. I don't know what's gotten into you, but this isn't you. You usually give our audience a spoiler annotation without giving stuff away, and I've had it up to here with you.
Fine.
It's time for the traditional Mega Man X reveal. I'll give you one guess who's actually behind everything.
It's Sigma. He's back with some virus that infected Doppler, and that's why Doppler is evil, and he's been rebuilding a body for Sigma.
Yes, that's it, Greg. Very well done.
This is all super predictable, man, and this is just going off of X1 and 2.
Unfortunately, after X4, this type of plot gets recycled quite a bit, considering that Capcom went on to make these without Inafune attached after Mega Man X5. And they get even weirder from here.
That seems too easy for the end of an X game. Nothing bad happens to Zero? I'd imagine that's a possibility.
Well, let's go the clue route and get the Completionist bonus underway.
Oh, I'm gonna be Colonel Mustard.
And I'll be Tim Curry.
From it.
Okie dokie, so we've got quite a bit to tackle, so let's get right to it. To accurately get our lovely Completionist bonus underway, there's a few do's and don'ts we have to honor. The obvious is clear, getting all the 8 heart tanks, 4 sub-tanks, the armor robot suits, and the X upgrades are a must. However, with that said, do not, and I repeat, do not get any of the X chip upgrades. None. Getting one will actually punish you, as you will not be eligible for getting X's golden armor in the Doppler stages. Getting the golden armor gives you all 4 chip upgrades at the same time. See? Patience is a virtue in that regard. Now for a few don'ts. Do not die ever as Zero. In fact, don't use Zero at all. He's a waste anyways until the very end. Second, as you explore on in the early levels, you'll find a hidden capsule that will take you to a secret boss fight with Vile. Now, killing Vile is the most obvious choice, right? Wrong. Simply killing Vile with the X-Buster is not the right thing to do. What you'll need to do is kill Vile with either Ray Splasher or Spinning Blade. Doing so will perma-kill Vile, so you don't have to fight him later on, which brings me to the point of Zero not dying. When you're on the second Doppler stage, halfway through before the first boss door, you can switch over to Zero and fight a mosquito-type boss. If Vile is not killed the way I just told you, you'll have to fight him again. Anyways, killing the mosquito mini-boss forces the mini-boss to nearly kill Zero. Zero then hands X his Z-Saber, which is the equivalent to X's Hadouken from X1 or the Shuriken from X2. You can now two-shot all the bosses in the game with this, making the last few Doppler stages and bosses very easy.
Nothing beats the feeling of an OPX.
There's also a hidden boss depending on how you kill Bit and Bite. If you kill Bit and Bite before the 8 Robot Master stages are over with, destroying them with their weaknesses, you'll fight this big junk robot instead. Doesn't do anything different for the plot, but it's just a fun thing to know. This game fluctuates from being very hard to very easy to kind of back and forth. Familiar X fans will probably have no problem besting this game. I admit, for me being pretty well versed in the X series, this is definitely my weakest X and I struggled a little bit. But with a little practice and elbow grease, it's pretty easy. When it comes down to it, X3 in my opinion is the weakest in the original X trilogy. While it is superior than the likes of the later X games like X6 and 7, it doesn't quite have the progressive feeling that we got from X1 and X2.
Let me guess, Gerard, you're gonna say finish it or complete it or finipede it? You always do. You may be fair on your reviews, but you love games way too much.
Oh, quite the opposite, Greg. I think this game should
Burn in hell.
Wait. What?
This game should come burn in hell with me, where all the games eventually go. What say you, Greg? Will you join us?
Join us? Who are you? You know what, Gerard? I'm out. I'm leaving. I'm done. I'm out of here. Walking away now.
Go, see if we care. Do you know who we are? We are the Completionist. Us, that's who.
Come on, man, what's the deal? What are you doing? Why are you being so mean to me? You've never been like this before. What's wrong?
You underestimated our power. Now we'll show you. completed!
Hey! That was mean! Why did you do that to me? You've never done anything like that before!
Nah, man. That ain't me. That's a demon. Demon Gerard.
Demon Gerard? Wait, what's the last thing you remember?
LA Convention Center, E3, we were dressed as knights, but not the ones who say knee.
Gerard, that was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago? Wow. Time must have flown by real quick. I don't know. I've been playing this awesome game the whole time.
Awesome game.